Temba was at a cemetery earlier today to pay respects at his mother's grave. Next to the mother's grave was another tombstone written, "Here lies a gentleman and a lawyer." Temba thought to himself, and he went, "Shame, did they have to bury them in the same grave?" Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. Thank you so much for choosing to join us on this most powerful 30 minutes of digital content. And I say so because I know so. You know, this is not some hearsay. We are on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and you can also find us on YouTube. And all platforms is Talk with Rams. Slight variations here and there, but if you look for Talk with Rams, you'll find us. Talk with Rams Live is brought to you by Kana Coffee, the most delicious and best tasting coffee with extreme health benefits, manufactured by the Kana Coffee Company. This coffee has potent, creamy, and long-lasting flavors which are low in acidity and delightfully romantic. To buy this Kana Coffee or acquire the Kana Coffee franchise, call 082-730-4112, 082-730-4112. Mention Talk with Rams, you may just get a discount. We have negotiated that for you. So use our name, use our name. Barking, name throwing, no, something. I'll get to that phrase, yes. Anyway, Bill Gates once said, if I had $1 to spend, I'd spend it on PR. Nothing more for me captures the value of public relations in business than this. And on this Wisdom Wednesday, I thought we should talk about public relations and what it can do for your small business. Joining me to break this down for us is PR specialist, communication expert, my friend Lorato Tshekeng, and head of Decode Communication, Nkgonne Dumela.
Nkgonne Dumela, and thank you so much for inviting me.
No,
ke tlotse Nkgonne, ke a leboga.
No, I like how you look in the dark. Thank you so much. That's the point. Thank you so much for joining us. And I need to tell our followers and viewers and listeners, those who still listen on podcast, that now we've just ushered you in the league of our coaches. They shall be seeing you often. So this is the first of many to come. But please help us in the simplest of terms. What is public relations in the scheme of marketing communication?
So Rams, in fact, I stumbled onto this the other day, and I thought that it was the best way to demonstrate or at least differentiate PR from all other forms of promoting a business. This guy says, advertising buys you audience, and marketing turns the audiences into customers. And then PR helps you to manage the relationships between the customers and the influencers, right?
Yes.
So and I thought about it, and I was like, this is the best way to really differentiate between the three. But most importantly, PR, public relations, as it were, it's always seen as the poor cousin in the marketing and advertising space, right? Mm-hmm. It is seen as the poor cousin, not because it is not understood, but it is because people sometimes confuse PR with publicity, while publicity is an element of public relations, right? And that is why this definition of public relation helps you manage the relationships, even of customers. Then it means that it literally just goes beyond you writing a press release and getting publicity from your local radio station or even a national radio station to get your name in lights.
Yes.
Yes, Nkgonne.
I get it. And now, one of the things that I have always found, and I'm an SME myself, I've dealt with a lot of them. And I remember a guy asked me years ago, it probably is more than a decade ago. And he said to me, how do you get your clients if you do not advertise? How do you capture their attention? And I said, well, I use PR to capture their attention. I make them aware of me without me advertising. And then when I have them in the room, I then keep them related to me, which is PR, again, as you spoke about, it's stakeholder engagement. And my clients are my biggest stakeholders. But I don't want to answer these things because you know them better than me. And besides, I'm a retired PR person. My PR was in the past. But what are the simplest things that, and let's create a company here. Let's create a company. Let's say Freddie runs a marketing, or let's say he runs a television, a small broadcast program of his, and he wants to market it, but he doesn't have money. He can't go to radio stations and the newspapers and cut an ad and place it there, but he wants people to know about it because he thinks it's a very important tool. What are the simplest things at the basic level that he can do?
And maybe before I answer that question, Freddie, there are a few simple things that Freddie wants to achieve, right? The one is that he wants people not to tune into Talk with Rams, but to tune into his station, right?
Yes.
So essentially, he wants people to take an action. But unless people are aware of Freddie's the existence of his business, they will then not take that action, right? But and as we know, being aware of something does not mean that you know about it, which then that becomes the second most important thing, where Freddie must then help me, who's now aware of this broadcast, this broadcasting company of his, to say, but what it is, what is it, but and also how is it different from another? Why should I tune into the station? Because then that helps me to start thinking, oh, it makes sense. So this is how I'm going to consider, or at least why I should consider his or prefer his versus Jonathan's station, right?
Yes.
One of the things that we all struggle with, Rams, is that there's a buzzword, storytelling, right?
Yes.
But if you ask people to say, tell me the story of your business, a lot of people struggle with that. So the first thing that I always try and help people and say, Freddie, firstly, let us think about what is your story. And maybe let's move a little bit away from Freddie's story a little bit, and let's move to one of the prominent brands now that was a small business and is now really becoming a relatively recognizable bigger business, Batu Shoes, right?
Batu Shoes.
Right. So if you think about Batu, anyone can go, because if you look at the price comparatively, it compares to any other sneaker brand that is relatively, call it mid-range to high-end, right? What people are buying Batu, they are not necessarily buying a sneaker only. They want the sneaker because it comes with comfort, it comes with, you know, all the things that they are looking from a sneaker. But then most importantly, the owner of Batu, Theo Baloyi, has been able to tell the story around Batu. And that is what people are buying. So small business owners need to start thinking a little bit about, so what is the story of, when I'm sitting, what is the story that I'm selling over and above just selling a broadcast house or a packet of beans or whatever the case it is. And then you then move to, how do you then tell this story? Because then it comes to the packaging of telling the story. Of course, we can talk a little bit more about it, but the biggest advantage with public relations versus the other types of promoting your business is that it is relatively cost effective. And I
Yes.
wish for small business owners to always remember that there's a difference between cost effective and cheap
Yes. And free.
and free.
Yes. I actually truly believe that if it's gonna show a bit of value, it should never be free. People tend not to take it seriously if it's free. You gotta show some value in it. A fellow came to me from the East End some 4 years ago, and he said to me he manufactures nails. You know, nails is in the Dipekir.
Yes.
It's in Dinala, Dipekir. And he said to me, his market is the construction companies communication. He's not going for the big guys. He's going for Bratom, renovates here and there and stuff like that. And those are his people. And he can't, he's battling to reach them. And and I said to him, but do you know your story? Have you communicated your story to Bratom? Because Bratom can buy nails for cash build or builder's warehouse. And probably by, like you say, it could even be the same price. In fact, the big retailers are going to be slightly cheaper than you and sometimes even more reliable.
Yes.
Is PR more concerned with the hard, warm feeling more than just the straight, brutal rands and cents?
So the advantage with consumption of anything and everything, Nkgonne, as the world has evolved over time, is that if you remember, and you would remember this. So in South Africa, for instance, there was a time when one of the giant filmmakers, the producers of films for cameras, right?
Yeah.
They were producing films for the apartheid government so that they can then produce specific photographs for the dom passes, right?
Yes.
And there was a movement in the US where some people were saying, this company is headquartered here in South Africa, in the US, and we are going to boycott the company, right? The reason I'm bringing this up is that the way people consume anything and everything now is no longer just about price. People are a little bit more conscious as well about, sometimes if you're able to say, by the way, I sell, this is making the world a better place because I produced from sustainable material or recyclable material, it may be a little bit more expensive. Because this person may be concerned about living this world as a better place, then they are willing to spend a little bit more. And that is why when you then use public relations to tell that kind of story, because it means that you understand that the market, or at least the heads, the minds of the consumers are such that we are no longer just exchanging money for goods or goods for money, right? Mm-hmm. We are also interested in, is company X that is selling nails an ethical business, right? Because if you are not an ethical business, they may decide that, listen, you may be cheaper, but your story is the story of a corrupt, a non-ethical story. And that's where public relations then plays a role in saying, let us find these elements that tell your story, so that when Bratom has to buy nails from you versus a big building material company out there, they would prefer you and not them.
I hear you. I hear you. Now, the thing about PR though is that if you're gonna do it, you need to understand how the media works. Yes. The advertising is that we buy. I mean, it's the quickest form of getting to the media. You can create an ad and buy. You don't have to know how the media works. They will place your ad because they've got your top dollar. The yes. PR is slightly different. You need to know how they operate. I run an SME that also happens to be a non-profit organization called Future Kings. And one of the tools that I use for PR is that I listen a lot to talk radio. And at any given time, when I hear them talking about a subject that is related to this SME stroke NPO that I run, I pick up the phone and I do something that I know you're going to talk about that is very important in PR. I then add value.
Yes.
Because when I add value, people want to know, but who is this guy?
Yes.
What is this Future Kings? We want to know more about it. And more often than not, even the presenter will say, oh, give us your contact details, or what is your website address?
Yes.
Do people need to understand how the media works for them to then do good PR for Tom's Nails or Freddie's digital channel?
So because we are talking about small businesses, Rams,
Yeah.
Sometimes I almost quickly want to advise them to say, listen, if you are a manufacturer of nails, is it not most effective for you to spend the most of your time on producing nails and then hire somebody with who then knows how the media works? Because then that way you are likely to get it right almost the first time, right?
Yes.
Of course, the biggest challenge then for small business owners is that they always don't have extra cash lying around, right?
Yes.
But then if you take the very small business owner to the quote that you used from Bill Gates, perhaps the idea could then be, is there almost a middle ground between me knowing a little bit about how the media works and also outsourcing a little bit so that I'm then not too stretched? So that's the first part. I would advise small business owners to say, find somebody who knows how the media works and who can interact with the media on your behalf. And you don't have to pay them top dollar. And they don't have to be an employee or a full-time service provider. They could actually be coming in maybe once or twice a week and help you with the now packaging the story and helping you find opportunities. The part about the owner then knowing the media is that, so let's talk about Bratom, who's manufacturing nails, is looking to sell nails in Soweto. When you know how the media works, you are at an advantageous position in this sense. Did you know that Josie FM is bigger than Power FM and SAFM combined from a listenership point of view, right? So that then helps you, because ordinarily Bratom will think, hey, I want to run to the prestige of getting an interview on Power FM, because you know what Power FM comes with, or even what an SAFM comes with. But Josie FM, one, it broadcasts in the area where his audiences are, or at least his customers are. Secondly, they predominantly speak the kind of language that his customers understand, because there's a fusion of a little bit of English, a little bit of Tsotsitaal, a little bit of Zulu and Sesotho, and a few other African languages, right? Whereas these other two that are at high level, SAFM and FM, and I'm not saying that you should not have an interview there, but I'm saying if the small business owner wants to sell to this construction owner who is in Soweto, right, who then listens to a Josie FM. So I'm saying that the knowledge of Bratom's of how the media works will then help him to distinguish between, if there's an opportunity for me to have an interview and talk about my business and tell my story, and I had to choose between the prestigious stations and this one that reaches my target audience, he's likely to sell a lot more if he goes to a Josie FM. Then he's going to make the right choice because of his understanding of how the media works.
In fact, I'm just going to bastardize what you just said and say, in fact, in that case for Bratom, Josie FM is the prestigious station. And that's where his money is going to come from. That's where the prestige is. You know,
Absolutely.
He must not believe the labels elsewhere. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to invite everyone who's got a comment or a question or a view, please join us. Send us your comments on Instagram and on Facebook, Talk with Rams Live. Or better still, send us a voice note on 067 271 8239. We're going to take a short break and I come back and read your comments, your questions, and continue with Coach Lorato.
We know it's a tough time for all entrepreneurs, so let's lend a hand. Talk with Rams Live gives you an opportunity to advertise your business. Send us a 60-second video describing your business to 067 271 8239.
Good day, my name is Bongetsele.
Sani Manani, everyone,
This is Batabile Mumeki.
Hi, my name's Alon Reyes.
Or else, uzoithola kanjani?
Africa. My name is Pleasure Litsuele from Bokamoso EduTech Services. We are an innovative solution-based small medium enterprise. We designed a digital library that offers an offline content material. It carries a whole syllabus from grade R to matric, every subject and its chapters, prescribed books, video lessons, previous question papers, and live assessment. We are refining the educational system in South Africa. Contact us on 064 8766 516. South Africa. My name is Pleasure Litsuele from Bokamoso EduTech.
Be featured here on Talk with Rams Live. Just take a 60-second selfie video, tell us about your business, and send the clip to our WhatsApp line 067 271 8239. It's a free opportunity for every SME out there. You just have to send a 60-second clip. Folks, 60 seconds is 1 minute. Anything beyond that is no longer called a minute. We've been receiving 3-minute tapes and 5-minute tapes. We call those documentaries in this kind of broadcast that we do. We just want 60 seconds. Even if it's less, it's better. But remember, that does not make you a media specialist. And that's why we have people like Coach Lorato Tshekeng right here to help us understand this. Morore, before we took a break, I wanted to deal with something that you mentioned, because it's very important. So one of the businesses I run is coaching SMEs. I do business coaching for them. And I emphasize one thing every day of my life. If you are a nail manufacturer, you are a nail manufacturer. Remain the technician.
Yes.
You are the technician. Do not try to be everything in that business. That includes, by the way, your accounting, your IT. All these things can be outsourced. It is much cheaper than trying to do them yourself because you're going to mess them up. But more, they're going to take you away from the money-making program, which is making nails. That's where the money comes from. Your money does not come from PR. It is much cheaper for me to go to Decode, and I know what I'm talking about, and say, please handle the PR while I do whatever I do at Future Kings. You can help me with the PR, because then I'm not deflected. So as I do this, I want people to understand that when we talk about the importance of PR in business, I'm not necessarily asking people to become PR specialists. I'm trying to show them why it is important, so that then they can go look for people who can help them do it. And Khomotso Machila actually agrees with me. She says PR is very strategic, and it is always better to work with a reputable PR agency. It will save you lots of money. Trust me, guys, I know that. Here's a question though, Morora.
Yeah.
Is PR though not slow? Advertising is quick. It's out there. We see it. People just saw the ads. If they like the guy who was in the ad just now, they're gonna contact him. They saw the ad of Talk with Rams. I tell you, every time we fly that ad, immediately I can see, my team can see on the WhatsApp line that somebody has just sent an ad. Is it not slow, and does it not discourage people, PR?
So ordinarily, the one challenge with PR is that it takes a little bit longer, right? Because you telling a story, you must tell it over and over again. And unlike with advertising, where you can literally just have an image and help people to form some sort of mental picture, with PR, you are then helping people to form an opinion, right?
Yes.
Or at least influence their perceptions about the nails that you produce, or even the process that you use in manufacturing the nails, right? But then the advantage, though, of PR, although it is slow, is that in the era of technology, where and again, this really, or at least mainly, goes for people who are in the service industry, because when you are selling a product, people can see your product, even if it's an online, if you are selling online, right? So you're selling a shirts, people can see the shirts. You can even do a 360 view of the shirt. But if, like, you and I are selling a service, how do you demonstrate that? How do you package that, right? Yeah. People who ordinarily would sell things that you really can't touch. It then means that you must find a way of, because you must always place yourself in the mind of a consumer, or at least of your buyer, and say what it is that they are buying. In most instances, they are buying two things. They are buying expertise, and they are buying capacity, right? Yes. They want to know if you know how to deliver on what you say that you, because anyone can really rattle off the things that they say that they can do, right? Yes. But then and sometimes they are able to see the expertise based on it could have been how you've written a case study on how you've worked with one client, and now they can tell that, oh, now we see that he really has the kind of expertise that we need. And on the capacity, sometimes it's really on, they look at, did you do work for a similar size of company, right? So if you're looking to do work for a relatively bigger company, they want to get the sense that if they were to give you a brief, you are going to be able to deliver, and you will not outsource a whole lot of work. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And PR then helps you with that, because in the age of technology and algorithms, it then means that you are able to write, you take your story, you then break your story into pieces of content, right? You can start with press releases. For instance, when you have something important to announce, or maybe now it's July, which is Mandela month, you may have been doing a lot of goodwill work. You may have been feeding people for 67 minutes. You may have been feeding 67 children, or you may have bought 67 computers or whatever. So there will be that piece of content, or not all. And you then, on a regular basis, to talk to that expertise of yours, you then write a few blogs, right? That content helps, so that if somebody is just typing on Google, I am looking for a public relations company in Johannesburg, your content may not necessarily come up as Decode Communications, but then the content that I have put up in my blog then comes up. And when people read the views, or at least how I've then written and told the story and shared how I've helped others, they then get the sense of comfort of, this guy can actually deliver to the brief that I want to put out to him or her.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to read one or two comments and then a very important question here. And we are running out of time. It's 30 minutes of content here. So the Global Business Connector on Instagram says, absolutely, remain the technician, though upskill yourself with basic understanding. I couldn't agree more, because you also need to understand, the truth is, if you don't understand, some charlatan PR agency will rub wool over your eyes, and you won't know what is happening. And then Bernard Baloy says, where is that delicious coffee today, Mr. Rems? There's the coffee, mate. I'm always drinking the coffee. These guys are sponsoring the show. I must take all the coffee the whole day and stay awake. But it's good coffee. Trust me, it is good coffee. And I see coach is having something there. We're going to send him Kana coffee soon. So Tandile Gringo Mashalaba. he asked a question. I run a foundation that gives young people access to learners and driver's licenses. How do I do PR without feeling guilty of guilt tripping people into funding our work? I love this question. And I know we can't give him the total how, but we can deal
Yes.
with the principle what.
Yes.
Yes.
Most importantly is to always remember that your kind of service is important, right? And maybe even where you are moving from to say that I feel like I'm guilt tripping people is it may be the wrong point where you're moving from, right? The most important thing is to say there's an important service that you are offering. How do you then persuade people to then say, I want to be part of this course? In fact, as part of the services that we offer, there's something that is called course marketing. So essentially, we're marketing for courses like yours, a foundation like yours, right? And the biggest element there is really helping people to understand, or at least we share the benefits of, if this or this is the current behavior that we then want to change, and if we were to change it, this is going to be the benefit, right? And the more you communicate the benefit, the more people are likely to then feel like, I see where either my money, my time, or even my donation, whether it's free, it's food, non-perishable food, or whatever the case may be, then they see where it goes, and that way I suspect it will help with taking away the guilt that the Facebook is raising.
Excellent. I'm going to make it even more easier for Tandile, even though I still think that he must talk to Decode to help him even further. Communicating the benefit, Tandile, one of the things you may want to do is to tell a story of one young person who through your business got a driver's license and changed their family's lives, showing them that if they did not have the license, they would not have done this, which therefore shows the importance of your business. So don't tell the story of your company, tell the consequence of what you do, the results of what you do. That's what PR does.
In fact, and if they were to forget everything that I said, and I wish for them to remember this, that the biggest benefit of PR is that the third-party endorsement element really makes everything believable. Because if you think about it, ordinarily when you stand on a soapbox and you say to people that I'm the best in doing this, right? People are going to listen to you and say, maybe. But if this young boy comes and then he stands on the same soapbox and he says, by the way, the life of my family has been changed because this foundation helped me to attain a driver's license, people are going to be saying, who is this foundation? Perhaps we need to have a look at them. And that third-party endorsement, it always goes a long way. Although PR takes longer, but the third-party element is the biggest benefit.
One thing that should never take long is for people to reach Decode. How do they do so?
So they can reach Decode Communications. We are on decode.co.za on our website, and we are also on Facebook. We are also on Twitter, decode_communications. And our cell phone is 071-737-6370.
He is officially launched as our PR coach for small businesses as of today. Lorato Tshekeng, always wonderful to have you, my brother, in my life. And thank you for having you for the first time on this platform.
It was an absolute honor, Khone. I really thank you so much. And thank you, Frederick.
Have a great evening. So, folks, thank you very much for tuning in as usual. The questions are still coming. I'm going to ask our coach to go onto Facebook when he's done and answer some of your questions on the page that he couldn't answer. You know, we try to keep to 30 minutes so that you hang up for us even more next time, so that we come back again and again and again. That's PR, you know. So tomorrow is Thursday. We bring an amazing person who does amazing stuff somewhere. You want to listen to that conversation before the week ends. Thank you very much, Freddie. As usual, thank you very much for everybody for participating. And from me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.